This week, we watched season 3, episode 1 of 13 Reasons Why.
The only show that dares to ask, how many teenagers can we kill before we get canceled?
It's a bold move. It's newly traveled ground. Oh, man.
This is Bad Watch, a podcast where we watch the shit out of shit. He's Andy.
Oh, that guy's Evan.
And on this week, as Andy mentioned, we watched the reviled. I can't think of anyone I know who likes this.
Okay. I haven't talked to enough people, I guess.
The closest I've gotten is someone telling me they liked the book.
Okay.
The first season was okay, and then it's utter garbage after that. Which is why, ladies and gentlemen, we made sure for ultimate garbage by watching the premiere of season 3.
It's a ride, especially like, again, we went in with no knowledge, right? So every character.
I did watch the recap. Did you watch the recap?
I started, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna go balls in on this. I just no idea, and I kind of regret it.
That sounds about right. But before we get to the recap of the episode, let me do the accent. Yeah, I'm the new girl. Before we get to that, we have some breaking news, because after our most recent episode recapping Another Life, episode 6, season 1, I posted on Instagram and Twitter, as I want to do when we release a new episode, and I did happen to tag one Ms. Katie Sackhoff on Instagram. And ladies and gentlemen, she's a real class act, because she commented on my very snarky punch-up thing, making fun of the show poster and the show in general.
To my horror.
And you're not on social media. You don't get to feel the horror. But she said lots of people like it, shrug emoji. At least Battlestar Galactica is now streaming on Amazon Prime. I didn't have the heart to break it to her that I also think that's a pretty not good watch.
Oh no, it's a bad watch.
It's 100%. A bad watch for sure.
We're gonna now we have to do it though, because she's better in Battlestar Galactica. I enjoyed her role.
She has a much better performance in Battlestar Galactica. That is fair. But Katie Sackhoff, we'd love to have you on the show. If you're ever in Chicago or the nearby environs, send us a blurb on the gram.
Oh my god, when this happened, Evan sent me a text message like, holy shit, here you go. And I sort of panicked immediately, because this is my talking shit about people and they're not supposed to know exist or have any knowledge. And then Evan's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna
God forbid anyone listen to our fucking podcast.
Well, it's light and breezy and fun, and we're also making fun of a bunch of people's work. So it feels like I shouldn't be doing that, but I was like, I am safe in my anonymity. And Evan's like, hey, you okay? Check it out.
I also tagged Netflix on the Twitter, and they have not responded. Which
disappointed.
Yeah. But anyway, Katie Sackhoff, real classy lady. Another Life is still a bad show, but mad respect to Katie Sackhoff.
All the people that liked it, they made mistakes, and that's okay.
It's fine. But another thing, before we get to the episode recap, is
now that we're internet famous.
Now that we're internet infamous, but we're starting a Patreon. Hooray! There's a link to our Patreon page in the show description, and there are 2 tiers. There's one that's $2 a month, and there's one that's $5 a month. Now, Andy, what is the difference between those 2 tiers?
Well, we had a lot of discussion. There was a lot of back and forth on this. And Evan's like, well, what do we offer? And I was like, oh, nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing different at all. They get the same crap.
And without checking to see if Andy was joking, I said, that's very on brand. I like it. And so, for $2 a month, you get
bonus episode, monthly Patreon only bonus
Andy can read.
Yeah, Patreon only, patron only bonus episodes. Also, and voting rights. I'm sort of excited about this because it'd be cool to have some direction from folks on if and when and what they want to hear. It'd be kind of fun to do. Our copious, huge following wants now that
Katie Sackhoff, you know where to find me.
See what Katie wants us to review next. Mm-hmm. friend of the show. Primary target, Katie Sackhoff.
Either friend or friend of me or nemesis. It's too early to say.
Whatever bonding. It is, I want to ride her coattails to the stars.
So that's the Good Watch Junior tier. That's $2 a month.
Okay.
You get the monthly patrons only bonus episodes, and patrons get to vote on what we watch next.
Okay.
And
would you do the $5 tier? Tell them what they're getting.
Good Watch tier for $5 a month, you get bonus episodes for patrons only on a monthly basis. I'm trying to change the order. And there are rights for voting that I'm trying to talk like Yoda. There are rights for voting on future shows.
Rights for voting you have.
Watch, we will.
No.
$2 a month or $5 a month. We would love it if you could chip in a little bit. We mostly just made the $5 tier because we like to pretend we know rich people. And if you have more to give, or you just really, really like us, that would be great. But
you can email us, and I'll set up a $1,000 a month tier.
So yeah, check out our Patreon. Again, the link is in the episode description. We love you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
And now, 13 Reese's why.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wrong way.
That would be a much better show.
14.
Oh, that'd be so chocolatey and peanut buttery.
13
and
Reese's wrong. Turns out there is a wrong way to eat a Reese.
And it takes a dark turn.
What's always struggling about that advertising look? It's like, it's not. You look at a Reese's and you don't think, how do I eat this? You look at it and you think, a nice chocolatey peanut butter treat. It's like a little hockey puck.
What's the swiftest way to get that inside me?
Yeah, they're big. They're small enough. They're big enough also, I guess, depending on your mouth. You can just eat them in one little chomp. Mom.
That's what my daughter does.
13 Reese's wrong. Yeah, I'm the new girl. Okay, now...
So I do want to preface this. I sort of enjoyed this a little bit. Like, it wasn't, in the scheme of things that we've watched, I was
as usual, Andy enjoyed it more than me, because I'm a sourpuss.
I was like, not as bad as the other bad watches we've done. And then I was thinking, what I most directly compared it to was Pretty Little Liars. Because it felt like, and Evan came up with this, it felt like Pretty Little Liars with the seatbelt on. Pretty Little Liars is just bonkers and so much fun because it's so awful. It's amazing. I love it. But this was just sort of bad. They did start with a very earnest introduction about mental health.
Yeah, there's a very well done content advisory trigger warning at the beginning.
We're going to discuss some rough stuff. Yeah. And if you have trouble, I was like, oh, this is good. And then the show happened and it was less good. But
and I would like to say right at the top that as the show points out in their content advisory, there are actual teenagers in the world dealing with substance abuse, sexual harassment, and bullying, and those are real issues that we are not trying to make light of. But the way the show handles them is completely insane. And
it's Pretty Little Liars. Everyone lies about everything for years.
Pretty Little Liars could have the same content advisory, but they don't because they know it's insane, and they are okay with that. Whereas 13 Reese's Wrong is like, we're not insane.
I just want to revisit my favorite quote from Pretty Little Liars. We don't want to be known as those girls that blinded.
What's her face? Melissa Walker. Yeah. Some white girl who's blind now.
Say what?
So
13 Reasons Why. There's
a new character in 13 Reasons Why Season 3 known as Ani. Wait,
is she new or did that...
She has to be new because later, Clay Batman Jensen gives her a tour of the high school the weekend after the spring fling.
Okay.
So she's our very specific audience surrogate.
Yeah, that's why they have a reason for the exposition.
I don't know anything that came before.
But I want to know.
So I'm going to stick close to Clay Batman Jensen.
Her character is insane.
She's bananas. So she's doing all this voiceover throughout the episode. And
it kind of gets annoying a little bit.
It's extremely annoying because she says 2 times verbatim, yeah, I moved here 8 months ago. I'm the new girl. And it's and then literally less than 10 minutes later, I moved here 8 months ago. Yeah, I'm the new girl. It's like, we know, you just told us.
They had some dead air, and they were like, "That's just slapping it again." She said it once.
Like literally in the voiceover, she's walking into the high school, and she says, "Do I like liberty?" And it's like, okay. Now, Ani is played by an African American woman. They're trying to use like liberty as the idea of freedom and how our high schoolers
I'm
ever
rolling
really
my eyes
free.
again at it. At Evan re-describing this moment.
It's in such poor taste.
But as they start going through the cast and like showing what's happening, thinking to myself like, oh man, I love 20-year-olds playing teenagers.
Yeah, let's play that game right now.
Okay.
It's a little game called What's My Age Again? And I am going to Google the actors. So if you want to play along at home, actually just Google 13 Reasons Why Cast, and you'll see the list of people that I'm going to go through from left to right.
Oh,
so let's
boy.
start. So Catherine Langford, she was the victim of season 1.
Oh, okay.
So we're not going to include her because we didn't actually see her on screen, I don't think, unless you watched the recap, which Andy didn't.
Clay, though. We got Clay. Dylan. I'm not looking. I'm just trying to see their pictures.
I have their ages written down. Don't.
Evan is now hiding their, like, the Wikipedia entry stuff with his
We gotta keep the stakes real, or otherwise the listeners won't
That's
buy
showing
it.
episode tape.
So Dylan Minnette plays Clay Batman Jensen.
Okay.
Now, how old would you say he is? He does play a high school senior.
He's 24.
22. Interesting.
Dang it, that was
A
gonna be
little
my first guess.
overshoot. How about Alicia Bowe? She plays Jessica, student council president, and general angry girl.
What did Ani say? She's got a bomb ready to explode.
As Ani points out, you're like a bomb primed to explode.
Ani has the most ridiculous character.
By the way, she means that as a compliment.
Yeah, I've known people like you.
Girls who are ready to own their power. I was like, who are you? Are you like some mastermind supervillain trying to build your team of anti-Avengers?
The Jedi wouldn't tell you this story. she's totally a Sith. I'm gonna guess she's 23.
22. Wrong
I
again.
thought we were going to the same 22
okay.
again.
Now, Christian Navarro. He plays Tony.
He's 26.
The mechanic. He is actually 28.
He's almost 30. Oh my god! But he is in high school with them, right?
He
is almost 30.
High school with them.
Oh,
or at least
boy.
he's like doing work study or something where he goes for the morning and then at the afternoon he's like got a job. I knew people like that.
He's on a work release thing.
He's at the most he's 19. Justin Prentice, who plays Big Bad Bryce.
He's got jawline for days. 22.
He's 25.
Oh,
Now
I am not good at this
Now
game.
this is where it gets tricky because so many of the white boys on the show look identical to me, and there's a character allegedly called Justin, played by Brandon Flynn.
Yeah, no, that's Clay's brother.
How old?
He's 25.
Right on the nose. Good for you. You're getting good at this.
I only have literally like eight dates that I can pick. Numbers.
Ross Butler. He plays
Asian
Zach
fella?
Limpy Gimpy.
He had amazing hair. When he first showed up, I was like, ooh!
He has amazing hair. He's like quarterback or something of the football team. Also the coach and the captain.
He's Asian. He's 37.
He's 29.
29?
He's 29.
He's 29.
And thank you for playing What's My Age Again?
That's ridiculous.
So
29?
Yep.
Playing a 19-year-old?
He's a high school senior. But he's 29 IRL.
Wow.
Now, since Andy didn't watch the recap, season 2 of 13 Reese's Wrong ended with one of the characters showing up to the Spring Fling dance with a huge assault rifle, and Dylan, the character who seems to be the nexus of all the characters on the show, the center of the wheel, if you will.
Oh, Clay. Batman.
Clay, Batman Jensen. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He's Batman.
Yeah. Well, you said Dylan.
Stop interrupting me!
You said Dylan.
I'm Batman! He takes the gun from his friend. Who's the troubled friend? Tyler. Tyler's the friend who was going to shoot up the dance. Nothing happens. Dylan and all his friends tell the police and school officials that it was just a joke. There were no guns or something. I don't know what they tell the police, but they managed to all get off scot-free.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Pretty Little Liar style.
8 months in the future, Ani is
uncovering all of this.
She's
just inserted
Ani is
herself
asking
into
herself,
every single.
do I like the idea of liberty as a school and as a democratic concept?
where you can bear arms.
She's walking into school, and who does she see being escorted out doing the perp walk? It's Dylan Batman Jensen. 2 cops are taking him to the police station.
Clay. It's Clay. Stop saying Dylan. Dylan's the actual actor's name. That's very confusing.
Oh, that's why you're confused.
Yes,
Clay
that's
Batman
why I'm
Jensen.
looking up the name.
Okay. Fine. God. Batman. He's getting escorted out to the police station.
Yep.
And Ani immediately spreads the word that Jason was taken, or Jesus, I can't keep anyone on this show straight. Clay Batman was taken out of Clayface. Clay. Okay.
Clayface.
I'm going down the Batman route.
All right, we're gonna need to do
Clay.
Clay. We're gonna need to do a good watch of Batman. Just get this all out of your system.
Gotham. Coming soon from Goodwatch Enterprises.
Because Clay can't be both the hero and the villain.
Let's not rule it out.
You're doing some anti-hero stuff.
I think there's a reading of Batman that he is both the hero and villain of his own story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's getting escorted out of school. Ani spreads the word to Alicia, Angry Girl.
So this is no longer the recap. Now we're into the show proper, though.
Yes. This is the show proper. Because the recap was all about how there was a riot at the homecoming game, which apparently happened the Friday before Ani's walking into school.
Yes. And which was really confusing because I didn't watch the recap, so they
don't really show this riot.
Well, they mention but all I've seen is all these characters beat to hell. Everyone's bruised. So I was like, what happened to all these children / 30-year-old adults?
Yes. Jessica, Angry Girl, student council president, she hears this and she finds so-and-so, Zach Limpy Gimpy, in the library. He's captain of the football team. He's limping because he was tackled in the riot at the homecoming football game. She tells other people, at some point early in the episode, we learn that Ani is not giving this voiceover for the benefit of the viewer. She is in the police interview room talking into a tape recorder because she's a mole, I think.
This whole thing, it drew me in a bit, but just like the number of flashbacks and the fact that they didn't, only occasionally would do a color fade to now this is flat.
Yes.
It was very confusing.
Yes.
And it was like, you were bruised, or you bruised again? You were bruised earlier, but now it's a different bruise? Did it change? Did you fall?
The one kid, Tyler, I swear is always fucking bruised. He just is constantly beat up.
He's the school's punching bag.
Yeah. So, and I actually, this episode, I think the first thing you see is 8 months later. And I was like, from what? And I guess Netflix is counting on you having finished season 2 and you're
burned through it all.
You're on your second pint of Ben and Jerry's and you're going hard, baby. So 8 months later after Spring Fling incident, and now your post homecoming incident as well.
And you do not come up for air with this show, apparently.
They also never give you, at least in Quantico, they gave you reference to which fucking flashback you were trapped in. 13 Reese's Wrong just expects you to keep up. They're like, we're going to do a subtle shift to a blue palette.
Yeah, but only
But not all the time.
Not all the time.
Only when you're in certain buildings.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? And then the occasional, I felt like sometimes they were doing a musical cue almost, because they were violent, but I don't know, I couldn't tell if that was
a musical episode of 13 Reasons Why. It sounds incredible. Scored by Dashboard Confessional and Bright Eyes. Connor Oberst is taking back his old moniker.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I'd be very okay with that. Oh man. Okay.
You can write that episode, put that in your notebook, and we'll check it out later after you've had some time to.
So before Andy pointed out that this is a Pretty Little Liars with a seatbelt on, I was like, this is just a really shitty Degrassi. Because I remember my sister would watch the occasional episode of Degrassi when we were teens, because that's who watches Degrassi. Andy has never heard of this show because he's, I don't know, Amish or something. But
was this on Nickelodeon?
What?
Was this on Nickelodeon?
It was on Nickelodeon.
Okay, I can't remember. I lived a very sheltered, under the rock lifestyle.
A Sheltian anti-Nickelodeon lifestyle. So you did not see a young Aubrey Graham, a.k.a. the rapper superstar Drake, play the popular boy on Degrassi, who gets shot in a school shooting and has to then use a wheelchair for a season or something. It's a really bad show. It's a teenage soap opera, and that's what this show is going for, but they have Batman. Clay.
Yeah.
I got it right
and
that time.
He does the brooding thing very well.
Oh, yes.
Very well.
I gotta get some air.
Yeah, he does. And it was just...
So you see Clay getting escorted out of school by the cops.
Right.
The next time you see him, it's the middle of the night. He's driving a car, and all these cops are driving past him. And I'm like, is he breaking out of the police station? And it's like, oh no, this was a flashback to Spring Fling night.
And like the camera looks over to the side, and he's got an AR-15 in the seat next to him.
Yep.
And I was like, wait, what? What? Then I think it cuts to a conversation with the Asian dude. What's his, Zach?
Limpy Gimpy.
Yeah, Limpy Gimpy. They were talking, Ani's talking to him, giving him an update. And I was just like, oh, his hair is dreamy. And then I sort of lost the thread because nothing important was happening.
I'd like to point out that I am on medication for ADHD, and that's our sponsor this week is Adderall.
Right.
They sent Andy some free samples.
He did not take.
No. Thank God you don't drink coffee.
Okay, this Ani's character is already annoyed.
She's very annoying, and she's ratting out. What you find out is like her close circle of friends. Mm-hmm. She's totally ratting them out to the cops to explain what happened on Spring Fling.
Well, the people need to know.
The people need to know, and supposedly she's doing this because she's grown fond of Bryce, which we'll get to. I'm going to try and go in order. This may be our most difficult Bad Watch yet.
Worse than Quantico.
By far. By far. Because at least Priyanka Chopra has nice hair and lips.
It was like every other scene was a different flashback.
It was so difficult for me to keep track, and also it didn't help that all the white boys except for Zach Limpy Gimpy look exactly the same.
They should have just had a number counter on the upper right from when it's another flashback.
If they could just give us the season, because that is the difference. Although it's filmed in like L.A. or something, so it's always sunny.
So it's like I was wondering why everyone's wounded, and then like from the fight, okay. But then they go to Tyler and Clay and him like getting the guns away from Tyler. And Tyler
Clay
and I was
Tony the mechanic. Tony drives Tyler the shooter away from Spring Fling.
Yeah, they get him out and they calm him down.
Clay takes the gun and drives away, and I don't know.
But he didn't take the other guns because they only showed the AR-15, not the belts with the handguns.
You're led to believe he is taking care of the guns, but they don't explain how.
Yeah, and they actually, one of the characters asked that later, and he's like, "You don't need to worry about it." And
it's better if you don't know.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so the writers just didn't want to deal with it. So they just initially, I was like, wait, is this show actually about a terrorist cell within a school? Like, and there's like, no, it's not the time to strike. I was like, this is ridiculous.
So they calm Tyler down. They take him home. He gives the suicide note he left for his mom to Clay to take.
And then they have a sleepover there.
He keeps the mysterious thumb drive, Chekhov's thumb drive, because we actually do see it when the episode ends. Yeah, but we still don't know what's on.
There's a flashback to him making the thumb drive, which was him pictures of him getting beat up.
Was that a flashback?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh God, I honestly don't know. I'm genuinely asking.
That must have been was on the thumb drive.
Because he's taking weird photos of himself with his shirt off to capture all the
and it was weird because some
bruises.
photos he doesn't have bruises, and the other photos he does. And I was sort of
maybe that's how you're supposed to know. But then again, Tyler's always fucking bruisey, cruising for a bruise in that kid.
It's a tough life. He's also he's also taller than like everyone. So you're like bigger than all these kids.
Meanwhile, back at homecoming, when Clay it's daytime, he's in the police station. Apparently, Bryce Walker Big Bad. Apparently, he's transferred schools after his rapey shenanigans in the previous seasons of this show.
Shenanigans imply a bit more lightheartedness than rape.
It was rapey stuff. I'm just saying shenanigans because it was rape and something else probably. Yeah. I think he took photos and was blackmailing people. Yeah. He was playing for the opposing team because now he goes to a fancy private school. Yeah.
And everyone's mad at him because he's a monster.
Yes, rightly so. And after the football game turned riot, he has not been seen since. Correct. And his mother has reported him missing. And of course, they bring in Clay, Batman boy, to figure out if he did something to Bryce. Because everyone knows that Clay's got beef with Bryce, and Bryce had beef with everybody. Yeah, and
Clay had told him that he would fucking kill him.
Via text, which he somehow hasn't deleted from his phone 8 months later. Or no, it's the day later. Never mind. Oh God, these flashbacks. Yeah. I'm beginning to think I have amnesia.
So then he's sitting there in the interrogation room, and the police officer leaves. He's like, "I'll be right back." And then Bryce's mom...
But okay. The police officer walks in. Clay asks, "Do I need a lawyer?" Yeah. The officer says, "No, this isn't a criminal matter. Chill out, son. Fucking relax.
You can call your mom if you want."
And then he makes it... He's like, "Oh, you want to be a bitch and call your mom? You're fucking 18, you dickbag." And so
but Clay has so many secrets to hide, so he's
Clay
not
has all the secrets, and he's Batman, so he does not call his mommy.
So then the cop's like, "Oh, I'll be right back," and he leaves, and then Bryce's mom walks in because police are just like, "Yeah, no, go ahead, you take a shot at him."
And that's what's so bananas about this is that the police are like, well, if we really don't want this to go to trial, or if it does go to trial, this would totally invalidate everything because this is not at all what's supposed to happen. We have an 18-year-old talking to the victim's mother.
Without any, he just turned 18.
He doesn't have counsel present. She doesn't have counsel present. I was kind of hoping that she would slap Clay.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. I would have loved that.
Well, so then she was like imploring him, "It would hurt me very much if something happened to Clay." And she's
Clay's
like, "I know my son's a monster, but like, what happened?"
Clay's like, listen, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, initially I was like, oh, he's lying, but
he's
then it's
for sure lying, and then he's like, no, really, guys, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, he's like, because all their circle of friends is panicking about the
Yes.
Tyler thing that they covered up last.
Yeah, because they're all like, it has to be, if Clay was taken to the police station, they all think it's about Tyler, but then they're like, it doesn't make sense for them to put this together 8 months after the fact, even if they're, podunk police folk.
But it's Ani's fault. Now they're putting it together.
It's Ani. It's because Ani was fucking giving them her novel monologue, whatever.
Yeah. So that was bullshit and insane. I think they then cut to president of the student body. Her name?
Jessica?
Explosive girl?
Yeah, bomb girl, Jessica.
She's like talking to the principal, and then it's just...
Yes, and no principal and student has ever had a conversation like that in the history of the world.
I was like, oh, this is just exposition because they want to just reveal a bunch. I was like, why is the principal complaining to a student about problems he
he's saying
has?
How you were the instigator of the riot at the homecoming game, and she's like, they started it. And he's like, no, all of our students threw the first punches. And she's like, they started it. And he's like, you're the student body president. You're supposed to be a role model. And she's like, that's what I was doing. This is why the United States doesn't negotiate with terrorists. Because frankly, teenagers and terrorists are exactly the same thing in my mind.
So it is a terrorist cell.
I think you're onto something there. They're running
Ani
the show.
Is the mole. Ani is the mole.
Ani is the mole in the terrorist cell. We've cracked the code. 13 reasons yes. Now.
13 reasons mole.
13 reasons mole. They can't see. They're underground. Anyway, I could go on. But she then just like storms out of his office because apparently she's the boss, and the principal's like, I'm a white guy in a school full of teenagers. And then I was noticing, where are all the fucking adults? Because I swear, there's only the 2 cops at the police station, which is why they had to bring in Big Bad Bryce's mother to the interrogation.
And then she was deputized.
She was deputized last minute. And at the school, you're given a brief glimpse of a robotics professor who lets Ani run out of class to go do shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And then you're given a glimpse of this principal. There are no other teachers. Because the next scene, you see Zach Limpy Gimpy, captain of the football team, on the sidelines because he's injured. But also, he's coaching the team.
He was like, guys, just you keep throwing the ball.
I need to see that hustle, Charlie. And I was like, where's the fucking adult at this football practice? It's so bonkers. And then Ani's there? Or no, it's Jessica? Now they're running. One of the girls goes to football practice and says it wasn't about Tyler, it was about Bryce. He's been missing since after the football game.
Yes, yeah. And so because initially she gave him the update that Clay got taken, and then she gave him the update later. Because no one else can text anymore. It's all through Ani. That's how we keep track of who's learning.
That is suspicious. That is very suspicious. There is a group
text, but apparently the kids don't use it.
The one thing I know about teenagers is that number one, they're terrorists. So I guess the 2 things I know. Number 2, they're always texting. They be texting all the damn time. Or Snapchatting. They should really Snapchat because then it goes away. Why aren't they doing that? I could really give this terrorist cell some tips.
So then they have a meeting to discuss, like, well, actually, this is a flashback, I think, to after.
Well, there's a meeting at the cafe.
This is the thing that blew my mind. There's
a meeting at the cafe post Spring Fling where they talk about what to do about Tyler and his arsenal of weaponry.
Right.
And then
the only same person in that meeting is the captain of the football team.
Yes.
Because I was like, this guy was ready to kill as many people as he could because he'd have a terrible life. People bully the shit out of him. It's awful. The football captain's the only sane one there because he's like...
Yeah, he says, it's not my responsibility to keep this psychopath in line. Yes. He is the only voice of reason.
And he gets up and leaves. And I was like, you should go get an adult. Because they were all like, how do we get Tyler into a program or for help without telling anyone what happened?
And that's the thing. They also briefly mentioned like that Tyler just got back, I think, from a psychiatric wing.
I think so. Yeah,
And some
in the real time.
inpatient thing. And now he's back and he's got his guns. And Zach is like, I'm not babysitting this psychopath. And I was like, good for you, Zach, because that's above your pay grade, buddy. Go to a different town with more grown-ups.
Yeah,
also, quit your job as a football coach. They're not paying you enough. But in the future meeting at the same cafe, it's far fewer people. It's Clay, Ani, Justin. I think that's it. No,
Wait,
Tony's is the mechanic there.
No,
but it's just the three of them. Whereas after Spring Fling, it was like, I don't know, a whole soccer team of folks.
Well, they had the meeting to discuss what they were going to do,
and now they're having a meeting to discuss what they're
the sub episode is what we're going to do about Tyler.
Yeah, this episode is what we're going to do about Bryce.
Well,
we didn't kill him.
Now they're like, well, we'll go investigate this.
Yeah, so they decide, well, there's no adults in this town, so let's solve the crime for them.
And then there's a bit of development in a flashback, of course, where Ani's like poking fun at Clay. Really incisive comments about his character.
Yeah, apparently Ani's first day of school is towards the very end of the previous school year, post-Spring Fling, where she and her mother have arrived in town. Her mother is a home health care nurse, and Bryce Walker's grandfather is slowly dying, so she is taking care of him. They do live in Bryce Walker's house.
Which has a kick-ass kitchen, and I saw that at like, this is early on, I saw that, I was like, ooh, can we just like skip this and just start talking about cooking on our podcast, because the show is ridiculous.
Also, they have maybe the biggest swimming pool I've ever seen at any residence on TV
Olympic.
or
in real life.
It's very large.
Also, Bryce is super fucking creepy in that moment.
Bryce is super fucking creepy, but also he's 25, and you can tell that he has to shave twice a day, for God's sakes. The kid is not in high school.
Oh, yeah, Ani's swimming. She's like, I got to know the Bryce that no one else got to know. And then it's cut to that. She says that, and then it cuts to her swimming, and he's like just standing over the pool, staring at her,
looming over the pool, watching her swim.
What Bryce did you get to know?
Yeah, it's like, so this is the best anecdote you had for the Bryce no one else knows? The serial rapist that now goes to a private school.
And is just staring at you as you swim. She's like, awkwardly goes, oh, your mom's like, she's a pool. He's like, oh yeah, don't mind me. I'm just gonna keep
staring at your boobs because you're doing the backstroke, baby, and I love it.
She covered herself a little bit. This is not a Bryce I want to know.
It's crazy. There was a couple of times I paused the show to write down lines of dialogue. One of them was, "Do I like liberty?" ? A later one was when they're at the post-Spring Fling coffee cafe meeting. I think Clay says, "We saved him. He's our responsibility." And I made sure I had that right because, number one, that is totally fucking insane. And that's when Zach is like, no, he's fucking not.
And I was like, I like Zach. He's good.
I just thought that was hysterical.
I was like, but then you don't really have a show if like adults come in and sanity resumes.
Exactly.
So.
And meanwhile, they're just sitting in this coffee shop talking about criminal conspiracy. And again, no adults work there. Later you see it's just like an older teenager.
Yeah. Was she? Well, I mean, the same age as the cast. Yeah. So
because I think Justin works there at some point in time, and she's like, "Could you at least bus tables or something and pretend you work here?" Maybe the best line in the whole episode.
So they do another flashback, of course. Why not? To the guided tour that Clay gives to Ani, and he's like, I guess, having a bad day, and like,
it's post Spring Fling.
Yeah,
he's under a lot of stress. He's Batman.
And he just decides to word vomit everything he's feeling in like the most charismatic way possible. And Ani's like, because this is her 1000th high school, and she is 1,000 years old, so she's like, that was the worst.
That was maybe in the bottom 5 worst tours I've ever been on, but it was maybe my favorite.
And it was just like,
by the way. I've done this before. Also, I'm in the copper's pocket, so be careful what you say, mate.
Yeah, also, I've been here for 8 months. I'm a new student.
I'm still new after 8 months because of this fucking bloody accent, right?
She inserts herself in 100% of everyone's business. It's so ridiculous. And she just walks up like, you're great, you should do that, I'm gonna follow you. Student president person was just like, what? And I was like, that's an appropriate reaction.
Yes, very much so. There's further evidence that Clay is actually Batman because he's giving Ani the tour and he sees these 2 kids walking down the hall. The taller kid pushes the other kid into a locker and Clay runs over. He's like, hey, you fucking cut that out. I'm fucking Batman. And the tall kid's like, he's my brother. Well, brothers should take care of each other. Batman, you don't have any family, do you?
His parents were definitely killed.
I was like, you were for sure an only child, Batman. I'm sorry.
Because that brother sibling relationship is entirely
and then there's this moment where after the tour, Ani joins Clay and his pals for lunch. She's like, is it all right if I sit here? And he says, he's like, what? Since I saw you assault someone on my tour, it's the least you can do. So she's like blackmailing him for a seat at the table.
Well,
so I think
it's because she said it so coyly. It's adorable as opposed to
she said
kind
it
of
with that
frightening.
fun accent, yeah.
If I
It's
just
like
say
fucking Rita
terrible
Ora.
shit with an alright accent, it's okay now.
Clay honestly looks like he can't understand her. He's so distracted. He's like, I need ketchup. She sits with them, and I think that's how we're supposed to know, you can't trust her. She's already blackmailing Clay. Day one.
Oh, man.
There's a hilarious moment where, I think it was in the past, after Spring Fling. Bryce is talking to his mother, and he talks about how he got to his parents were divorcing.
Oh, yeah, that was bonkers.
He got to his dad's house, and his dad had moved out without telling him. And he shows up at his mom's house to see if he can stay there, and this is when he meets Ani. And so it's definitely in the past. And she's like, oh, I knew he was leaving. And he's like, well, how? Did he tell you? She's like, I'm divorcing him. I know everything. Another occasion I paused to make sure I got the line right. So there's lots of shenanigans at the end where there's like a super cut of, you see Tyler in either the past or present with the flash drive looking at photos of himself with lots of bruises. He has a voicemail from Bryce that now I have no idea when he received.
Oh, yeah, no, not a clue.
It says, Tyler, it's Bryce. That thing we talked about, I'm working on it. And then we cut to Limpy Gimpy Zach, football captain coach.
Yes.
Football captain quarterback coach.
He's walking now, though.
He's on a roof. He's still limping, but he is walking. He's putting some weight on it. And he calls Bryce, and he's like, where the fuck are you? What did you do?
Also, I'm sorry, I got that scene that you were mentioning mixed up with a different scene where it cut to him, where it was a flashback thing. So, it's so confusing.
The gatekeepers on this show are like, listen, you gotta fucking keep up, kids. There's no jumping in at season 2 or season 3.
I don't recommend it.
You're toast.
I mean, I don't recommend the show anyways. And it was interesting because initially I was like, I sort of like this more. As we walk through this together and the myriad complications, it's a lot worse. Maybe it's better when you start season 1 and just sort of know what's going on, follow the thread per se. But I don't have a lot of hope for that.
So that's basically it. Clay is gonna solve the crime for the police. He's scrolling through all of the Facebook photos of the riot. Because, again, there's no police,
Tyler took photos.
So they're not monitoring social media.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's performing his criminal investigation in the Batcave.
Man, it's ridiculous.
And he's looking, and he's like, that's Zach. And look at the kid tackling him. That's 83, Bryce Walker's number.
Zach lied about who tackled him.
Because when we were carrying him off the field, he said it was number 82 from the other team. Why would he lie about that? And then Clay's like, when I talked to him this morning, he said he didn't know who tackled him.
Yeah, Ani and him were like, oh, they're on the case for the...
And then apparently, somehow in the intervening 8 months between Ani's arrival in town and homecoming, she has taught Clay Swahili, which is maybe the most interesting thing about this show. Because she says something to Clay in Swahili, which is not subtitled, and then Justin's like,
is that what that was?
I hate it when you speak African. And I was like, Justin, you're already hard enough to tell apart from all the other white guys, and you're really not doing yourself any favors. But that's pretty much the episode where
I'm tired.
Ani is talking to the police, and she's like, I know all these things, you know all those things. Together, we can put it all into
Ani
a beautiful
character
tapestry.
It's a boring writer's wet dream. Just like, let's just have her speak it. Whatever, it's fine.
Also, there's a scene before she runs off to school in her very opening voiceover where she's in the Walker's house washing blood off of a t-shirt.
Yes, that starts really early, and I was sort of like,
and it's never
touched on again.
Never touched on again, but
that was the Bryce that everyone didn't know.
Yeah, the bloody Bryce who looms over girls in the swimming pool.
Oh, man.
So, predictions. I think that given this show's handling of mental illness and all these other sensitive subjects, I think Bryce killed himself, and that's going to be the big reveal.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty...
Because it's made abundantly clear neither of his parents can fucking stand him.
Mm-hmm. No one likes him.
No one likes
this guy's actually a rapist.
He is this actual serial rapist and blackmailer. And the private school he goes to, he has to wear ugly purple sweaters. That's enough.
Hey,
man.
no, royal purple's the bomb. All right, you take that back.
Not with that gold coat of arms or whatever they have on it. Ani's the mole. Tyler has a voicemail from
Ani's
Bryce.
the writer's mole. Because...
Ani's everyone's mole. She's the mole on my face, the mole on my back.
The mole in my heart.
Yeah, something like that.
Good watch.
Andy, what do you got?
So this weekend just passed. Evan and I went to Noir City Movie Festival at the Music Box Theater here in Chicago, and it was a lot of fun. We just went to a double feature, and we saw Sudden Fear, which was A+ phenomenal, great. I loved it.
It was absolutely incredible. I second that. It's if you're looking for a really cool, twisty 1950s noir film, it'd be hard to find a better one. I feel like
it's Oscar nominated Joan Crawford. I think she nominated for her role. It's a ton of fun, very intense. There's some funny shenanigans they did with some lighting stuff, but like the ending, I was like, ooh, how are they gonna wrap this up? And I was very tense towards the end, and it was kept me the edge of my seat. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to folks.
So it's Joan Crawford is the star, and she's opposite Jack Palance, and those are both actors I have heard of as being really noteworthy and held in high esteem.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen anything they'd done. And seeing this, it's like, yeah, they're both really fucking good.
Jack Palance has a face chiseled from stone. It's insane.
The most perfect cheekbones the world has ever seen.
And the chin, too. I was like, what? How did they get this man with a face like this? It's impressive. But it's
cool.
It's a very good movie. I really
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but it's worth buying or getting from the library or something.
Yeah.
Go check out Sudden Fear. It's great.
Mm-hmm. What do you got, Evan?
Mine is a little easier to find. I watched it on Amazon Prime. It's a little film called Good Time, and starring Robert Pattinson, our next Batman, once Clay gives up the mantle and he saves this high school.
He's never giving it up.
By the way, I thought of a fun tagline for 13 Reasons Why.
Okay.
How fucked in a town? In a town with no therapists. How fucked up can one high school get?
But anyway, Good Time. Good Time is, first of all, it's a good watch, so it's really, really great. But it's maybe the most tense and stressful movie I've watched. It's not super long, thank God. But don't watch this movie to, like, wind down after a hard day of work. Because I finished it and I was amped as fuck. I was like, yeah, let's go chase people or something. Because it's a whole thing where Robert Pattinson's character is on the run after a failed thing that he was trying to do with his brother, who I think his developmentally delayed or maybe his Down syndrome, but I also think is played by an actor who does not have those conditions.
Okay.
So I was honestly amazed when I saw, because I Googled the guy and I was like, he's not actually like delayed in some way. It was sort of remarkable.
Okay.
And Robert Pattinson, I think, is great now that he's post Twilight. He's really good and fun to watch in this. And I don't want to really say too much because you just need to experience it and get your heart rate up, guys. If your Fitbit thinks you've been a lazy bastard that day, put on Good Time and your Fitbit will leave you alone. I promise.
Have you, sort of speaking of Pattinson, have you seen the trailer for The Lighthouse?
Yes.
I'm very jazzed about that. That feels like a 50s...
How long have we been here?
What?
2 days?
What?
3 weeks? 7 months?
Oh man, I'm really jazzed about that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Lovecraftian and exciting. Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe to our show and head over to iTunes, leave a nice review, give us all the stars. That's a fun thing.
Say hi to Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, if you want to say hi to us like Katie Sackhoff, you can find us online at badwatchpod.com or on Twitter at badwatchpod. He's Andy.
That guy's Evan.
Roll them credits. Or no, shit. And this is Badwatch. Roll them credits. We need to come up with a good sign up. I roll them credits, but you have to do the arm swing.
You do? Well, what about the knee slap? By golly.
Roll them credits.
I hate you forever.
Okay, bye.